Ahoy, ahoy! Welcome to a brand new edition of the Ramble on Reactions! Hey! Life is more fun when it's a musical, isn't that right? Handsome Dan Nye.
I think he might be right. That's what clever Eric Muller says. We're not doing this the whole time.
No, we're not.
We would hate ourselves.
I have to look at myself in the mirror eventually, so yeah, we can't do this the whole time.
If you couldn't tell by now, we are going to be talking about the thing everyone's talking about and swept the globes, La La Land.
La La La.
If Ron Swanson were to do La La Land, I think it would.
I think it would be a better movie, but before we get into that, so La La Land pretty much is a movie starring Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, pretty much struggling people in LA. Artists, yeah. Emma Stone's an actor, Ryan's a jazz musician who's trying to make jazz cool again, and will explain it to you whenever he feels like it.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
And it's written and directed by the guy who brought us Whiplash, which was one of my favorite movies of that year.
Damien Chazelle?
I believe so.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. And it's his take on the 1950s musical set in modern time.
With a couple of jokes about that, like everybody owning a Prius.
Yes.
Which was a good joke, to be fair.
Credit where credit's due.
Credit where credit's due. As far as positives for this movie, the tunes...
Here's my positives. John Legend is fantastic as the villain.
Villain is... You see my head. Villain's a bit of a stretch for what John Legend was.
Right. And then I will give him credit for this. They're good dancers. I like the dance sequences.
They're good dancers.
Planetarium was a little overkill, but again, good dancing. I'll respect the dancing.
Yeah, dancing's not bad. Some of the songs, I like the jazz songs. Ryan Gosling's piano playing. I actually talked about this a little bit with our friend Nate, and one of the first things I looked up after I saw the movie was he practiced. There was a musician who recorded all the piano parts, and then Ryan Gosling proceeded to practice 6 days a week, 2 hours a day, and so all the hand movements you see are his, and it's impeccable. Like, watching that, I'm like, you couldn't match somebody to that. Like, that was really impressive. That was Ryan Gosling, and so totally bought that. The fact that, like, he's doing this, I don't think any of it was improvisational, because he had to rehearse it all.
What? Jazz is all about improv.
Normally it is. So I really enjoyed that. And I'm trying to think, like, because this movie, let's start here. This is not a bad movie. The movie itself is bad.
It's not the worst movie we've seen this year, but is it the most overhyped piece of Oscar So White movie of the year? Yes.
Hollywood really...
This is Hollywood loving itself all over again.
Loves itself. And it's a lot of times you kind of have to take a step back, and this is coming from two people who have a heavy background in performance. I'm still trying to do it as a living.
I do it as a hobby.
And even for me, watching this, I'm kind of like... What? Like... Yeah, they do a few things where it's like they don't make a lot of sense, and they manufacture a third act and like an end of second act conflict, which I'm kind of like,
oh, and that conflict is so shallow. I almost threw my shoe through the screen.
I'm not going to spoil what the actual conflict is, but the way it's set up is like the first time this couple ever fights, which, if you've ever been in a relationship with anyone, you know that's not true. And the fact that they fight over this and it like digresses so quickly, and it's like, wait, whoa, what? Whoa, what? And it's...
Right, and considering what they're fighting about, in the next act, Emma Stone ends up doing the same exact thing.
It gets turned on its head really quick, and that was my big complaint with this movie, in comparison to something else we're going to record in a little bit, is this movie may be very cheery, and it may have a lot of music, and it may be very bright, and it may be very well shot. Another really positive thing I want to say before I finish that list, there are a lot of very beautiful long takes.
Yes.
There are a lot of long takes where it's like, I really appreciate what you're doing, how you're moving about this, but all that doesn't add up to much because the movie doesn't really have much of a heart. You don't really identify with any of the characters. You're like, I can appreciate what you're doing, but then their actions, you're just kind of like, it's like somebody just doggy paddling in a circle. Where it's like, if you wanted to succeed somewhere in your career, you would eventually have to go in a direct line, and nobody really does that.
And the thing I'm like, okay, so this is a musical, right? There's 4 songs in probably the first hour, none of them remarkable. And then it forgets it's a musical for the second and third act. It makes no sense.
There's a lot of jazz.
Okay, there's music, but again, it's a musical. And there's only 4 songs, and it's getting praised for being the best musical when it only has 4 songs, and none of them are remarkable or memorable. And that is a great sin for something that's marketing itself as the return of the 1950s musical.
You had a couple of huge ensemble pieces in the beginning of the movie, and they're really well done. They're really interesting.
Yeah, like the opening act, I was like, why do people dislike this film? This is great. And then it kept going. It's like, oh, okay, I see it now.
The first 7 minutes is like pretty much one long shot, and it's really pretty, like about being stuck in LA traffic. It's not a spoiler because that's what they do. But I mean, after that, you just kind of like the movie. I don't want to say it grinds to a halt, but it's
it goes off the rails.
Yeah, it's like it becomes a different movie almost. Like, and as I thought of another positive. But this is a minor spoiler. But third act, Tom Everett Scott.
Shades himself.
Shades. That was actually when I saw him. Like, I could ask my girlfriend. I got really excited. Like, that's Tom Everett Scott. That's Tom Everett Scott. That was like the most excited I got watching this movie because I want to see him in more things because he always really makes me happy.
But my problem with this movie is it feels like the music or the musical thing just becomes a gimmick. It's like The Artist, where if you look at that movie based on what it really is at face value, take away the silent movie part of it, it's just a crappy remake of A Star Is Born. This, again, is just 2 people in LA who are sad about wanting to become famous.
Kind of, yeah. And then when we can't do too much more because then it would be spoiler.
Right.
I was gonna continue to go. It's
I understand, but then again, like I said, then there was like, okay, we'll add this element, we'll make it a musical. But again, the actual musical part of it is only 4 songs in the first hour, maybe an hour and 15. I'll spot on that. And then the rest of the movie, you're just sitting there going, why?
Had this movie actually come out like around the time they're trying to encapsulate, had it been a 50s or a 40s musical, it might have been amazing. But it's kind of like, to me, you don't get the character development. Like, they try to put it in there, and they try to get you to identify with people, but it's like, these are people who go off to LA to find their dreams, and then that becomes a weird thing that like they bring back up later on in the movie, and you're just kind of like, wait, you didn't get the way you wanted, but you're still doing okay, but you did get what you wanted, and you're still not okay, but everyone's kind of bittersweet, and what's this? Like, and then they try to ground it in reality, and you're like, this has been such a fantastical movie that you're trying to actually make me double back and feel on these characters? What?
Yeah.
It doesn't really know what it wants to be, and I think it comes through that way. And it comes through, not as, like we said before, it's not a bad movie, but it's a bit messy.
Right. And again, if Hollywood didn't love itself, this movie would not be the talk of the town.
Yeah, and there are better movies.
Scott Nance, I'm looking at you.
There are better movies that are better feel-good movies with music, just in this year alone, than this, because it's...
Sing Street, Moana.
Just to name 2.
2.
And we could do more, but it's...
Right. That's for another night.
It's for another night, and it's... Because a lot of times we'll have thoughts like this, but we'll disagree, but we're oddly have much of the same mind. So Eric, go ahead and grade this for me.
C-.
See, I can't go that low. I did find more redeeming places. I'm going to give it a B-, because I can understand why people liked it, even though it frustrated me for a better term.
Well, like I said, my main issue I have, like I said, it's just a gimmick film, and then when they go away from the gimmick, after an hour and 15 minutes, then it just becomes like this really sad love fest about trying to be true to yourself, even though no one really is being true to themselves. And it's just, I think, like I said, the third act completely is a mess.
Yeah. So,
Mom, I know you've been wondering what we thought.
Yeah. What do you? Because you know she's gonna watch this too. So, let us know what you think.
Dad, you're welcome. I'm saving you money.
As always, thank you for making it this far. If you're Eric's parents, go see this movie and tell us what you thought. Or, if you're extremely nice to him, maybe we'll find another way to hook you up and you'll be able to see it. However, he's not going to pay for it. So, like, comment, subscribe, share.
I already paid for it.
In time and life lessons.
That's right. Over there is handsome Dan Nye. I'm clever Eric Muller. Please enjoy the rest of your evening.
And go see something else that's going to make you
happier. Find something else that's going to make you want to sing from your heart.
All right. Ahoy, ahoy.
Ramble on.